So I'm just going to show you guys quickly how to export out an Alembic cache. So I'm going to just make a cube. I'm going to put a little animation in on it. I'm just going to have it rotate. Let's go. It's only 120 frames. Let's go 300 frames. I'm just going to key that so that it's spinning. So what's cool with this is when you go, it's under Windows, Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager. Make sure your ABC export, ABC import are both loaded and auto-loaded. So you can export as well as import Alembic caches. So if we select this guy, go to cache, Alembic cache, export selection is Alembic cache. I'm going to go with the cube, no substep. So this is 0.1. So currently, when you play your animation, it can play between certain steps. This is only really going to be something that we'll notice on primitives, is that the substeps doesn't really quite matter as much. Just know that when it does have some substeps, that it is it's better for motion blur, right? So when you have like characters deforming, like things like fingers and like weirder things like hands moving, a substep means that if your key is here and your next key is here, it kind of blends between them. So a substep is like what is happening in between those frames. So as it's moving, it's how smooth is that movement, right? And do you need all that information? So I usually have my substeps sitting around like 0.2 or 0.5 or 0.1, depending on like how much motion blur I need. But in this case, because it's a cube, I'm just going to leave it at 1. I'm going to cache this out at no substep, and you're going to see how fast this caches now. All the settings I don't need. The only things I pretty much want, I want to make sure I script the namespace, and I want to write UVs. Let's see. I don't need it to be in world space. It doesn't really matter. I don't need to filter any Euler flips. I don't care about any of the normals. You can add in other attributes if you want. I don't really do very much with this stuff. If you made some attributes, you can add them to it. But yeah, I don't really use a lot of it outside of just exporting what I want. But yeah, so if I hit export, yep. Okay, so that was pretty quick, and that just gives you my animation. But if I wanted to go and export an Alembic cache with some substeps, just realize that this makes a much bigger file. So if I hit it at like 0.1 and I hit export, you see this is going to now actually play significantly slower. There you go. Because it's going between every frame 10 times. But it means that when I go and have this cached out as my, when I bring this back in, my cube with no substeps as well as my cube with substeps, you can even see just here, one of them is 18 kilobytes and one is almost 10 times the size because it is 10 times the information. The thing is like on a cube, we're probably not going to notice much of a difference. They're kind of the same thing. You can see that. I think even if we go into like half frames, because it's such a low res primitive, it kind of does just blend between them completely. Let's see it from a front view. Yeah, if we go to like frame 42.1, yeah, they're about the same. But it's because it's a primitive, so it doesn't actually like, it's not blending too much, which is where those get a lot more, like, there's a lot more freaking out inside of these when there are weird issues. But that's how you would make an Alembic cache. So be sure to make some Alembic caches out of geometry. Alembic caches tend to be mostly geometry. You can also do like n particles and things like that, but just be sure to remember to write out certain things. But if you are writing out an n particle, the type of shape that it does render out is the little like geometry shape. So be very wary about what you are writing out. Otherwise, if you are using an end particle, you'd want to use a different kind of cache system. So I will make that really quick and give you guys another video.